Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Becoming CEO AF podcast. I'm your host, Kimba Garcia.
And I am your co-host, Amanda Bell.
Today, we have a very special lady with us that we're very excited to bring to you guys today, Dr. Chelsea Knutt. How are you today, Chelsea?
I'm good. So excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
We are so excited to have you here. And Amanda, do you want to just kind of kick this podcast off today, sister, with going back and talking about, because before we knew Chelsea, we actually knew Chelsea's husband, which I thought was just kind of an ironic play out of events leading up to this. Do you want to kind of dive into that story a little bit?
Yeah, so it was wild, you guys. It was super fun. Kimba and I, if you missed it, you'll have to go back and check it out because we did a whole podcast on it. But Kimba and I found ourselves end of last year in Florida. And so when we were in Florida, we were at a summit, a conference for different speakers and business owners with one of our current business coaches, Bill Walsh. And while we were there, we met so many great souls, but there were two dudes individually that stood out. And those guys were so great. They were chiropractors back home. They're business partners like Kimba and I were. They had a little spiritual side to them, which we thought was way cool. We also knew that there had to be some feminine energy in there somewhere, because how in the world did these two dudes that are pretty big, like they had to have been closer to 6 foot or something, but they're pretty big dudes.
Taller than us.
Yeah, no doubt. So these pretty big dudes were way cool, down to earth, had a little spiritual side to them. We got to connect with them outside of the event a little bit as well. In the hallways, we found ourselves chit-chatting it all the way up and decided, you know what, y'all have to come on our podcast. That would be so great to see you guys on the podcast with us. Turns out they're in Texas, and they're not super far from us. They're maybe an hour from us. And so is their practice. And so it was really cool. Well, we leave the event. We never get them on the podcast. And earlier this year, a couple months ago, Kimba and I found ourselves at a women's ceremony. It was our first one to ever go to, and it was so great. Well, there's this woman in the back who is practicing different stretches with me based off of the energy where I felt the tension and a little bit of stiffness and tightness. And then she comes inside the women's ceremony, and she is, not only does she have a beautiful soul and spirit that you can feel as soon as you meet her, she also has a beautiful voice, and she knows how to use these sound bath bowls like a champion.
So beautiful. It was so beautiful.
Like a champion. It was so great. Turns out it was Dr. Chelsea Knutt, who is the spouse of the guys that we met in Florida.
Dr. Matt Knutt. We're like, well, there we go. So that is how we met. We both met and fell in love with Chelsea. And I guess by now our whole family. So, Chelsea, we want to dive into a little bit of your story, sister. So do you mind just kind of rewinding us, giving us a little backstory on who you are, how you got involved with the chiropractic industry, and then if you don't mind rolling just a little bit into, which I know this is a loaded question, I'm jumping on you at once here, but we also want to hear about, because you're really not your standard chiropractor, right? So I would almost like for the audience to be able to dig into some of the different modalities and practices that you use that are a little bit different in helping your clients be able to heal, that you don't get from every single chiropractor out there, right?
Yes, absolutely. So how I got into chiropractic is pretty cool. I'm actually a 3rd generation chiropractor. So my grandmother was a chiropractor and my dad is a chiropractor, grandmother on my maternal side. So it has always been a part of me and my life really since I was born and even before. I had my first adjustment right after I was born. I wasn't breathing when I was born, and my dad, who was he was in school at the time and apparently a very confident student, came over and gave me a little baby adjustment, which is much different than an adult adjustment. It's a very light touch, light pressure. But that adjustment opened up my airways and I actually began to breathe. So chiropractic has been with me since birth, but when I was growing up, I didn't always know I wanted to be a chiropractor. I thought I wanted to be a medical doctor. I thought I wanted to be possibly a pediatrician or a dermatologist, or, I was kind of tossing all of these ideas around. And then when I was in college and undergrad, I went all the way up into my senior year of undergrad, thinking that I was going to be a medical doctor and studying on that track. And then I had this moment, this epiphany in the first semester of my senior year, where I was like, I don't align with the philosophy and the practice of the medical system. I didn't want to push medications. I didn't want to just have that singular tool in my toolbox. I mean, medications or surgery or, things of that nature. And that's not to say that those things aren't important, and that they don't have their place, and that I don't believe in that. But I just wanted to be, I really wanted to help people heal their bodies and help people understand that our bodies are amazingly, incredibly capable at healing when we give them the correct support to do so. And that is like the underlying philosophy of chiropractic. So I had that epiphany moment, and I was like, I'm gonna be a chiropractor. And it kind of lined up with one of my friends going to chiropractic school. And she was kind of talking to me about it, and that's how this all came about. But within the next week, I had applied to 3 different chiropractic schools. And the one here in Texas, Parker University, was the one that my dad was like, if I could do it all over again, this is where I'd go. So I ended up getting accepted within like a week or 2. And I didn't even finish my last semester in undergrad because I had all the prerequisite requirements, and I just moved to Texas sight unseen, didn't know a soul, and started in January in chiropractic school. So that was kind of a whirlwind journey. And then since then, my career has really taken a lot of twists and turns. I didn't know, a lot of people don't know that there are lots of different ways to practice chiropractic. There's lots of different specialties. There's lots of different disciplines. There's so many different techniques. And that's one of the things that I love most about the profession is really there are no limits. There are no rules. I mean, there are rules for how you can practice, and there's a scope, but there truly are no limits to what is possible, and every practice is different. And we're just not as, as limited or as stiff in our the way that we heal people and the way that we help people. So it provides a lot of room for individuality and creativity. So when I graduated school, I kind of really let the journey lead me. I ended up my last 8 months of school when I was in the clinic, got an internship where I worked outside the clinic. So I was at a sports chiropractic office. I learned a lot about athletic injuries and helping professional athletes and the things that they deal with and how to treat those things. And I learned a lot about soft tissue work, and that really broadened my scope of what is possible in chiropractic, because in school you learn mostly adjustment techniques, what people would typically think of when they think of chiropractors, rack 'em, crack 'em, snap, crackle, pop type stuff. And then when I worked at this job, I started learning more about muscular injuries and how beneficial it is when we can work on the muscles and the tendons and the ligaments and the fascia, which is really huge, the connective tissue that lies over and around the muscle fibers and really connects everything in the body together. That working on that in combination with the adjustment is just hugely beneficial. So I got to kind of work with that. And then after about a year after I graduated, I worked there for a year, and then I started my own practice. And that was when I started dating my husband. We met in school, but we didn't start dating until afterwards. And that was just kind of like a really serendipitous story as well. But we had just gotten together. I started my practice, and then 3 months later, we found out we were pregnant. And it completely changed everything. It was obviously not something that we were planning. It was very unexpected. And I didn't grow up with my own mother. So being pregnant, I really, I just had this feeling, this sense that I really needed to put all of my attention and all of my focus on this baby and on preparing myself for motherhood and beginning to heal that abandonment wound, because I always knew it was going to come up when I had kids, but I thought that I was going to be able to plan that. And the universe threw me a curveball, and it was the biggest blessing of my life. And I'm so grateful for it. But as far as my career goes, it really, we took a left turn, and my whole identity shifted, and I became a mom. And there are so many examples of women who can do both and be a mom and have a successful business. And I really wanted to be that. But all of my energy was being funneled into this one very important thing, and that was raising my daughter the way that I wanted to be raised, and with the love and the support and the presence and all of those things that I knew that I needed. So it kind of took me out of my career, and that was really difficult because I knew that I was called to do this thing, to be a mom and to navigate that. But I was also still called to help people and to help my patients and to grow my career. So that was really difficult, but it also allowed me to learn more about, again, some other things. I started getting into functional medicine and reading blood work and kind of helping people with nutrition and reversing some of the chronic conditions that develop when we are out of alignment with our diet. And our diet is not just the foods that we eat, but it's also the relationships that we have. It's everything that we consume, everything that we put our energy into and take into our bodies is part of our diet. So the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, the relationships around us, the social media we consume, the news we consume, the things we read, the things we think about, all of these things are part of our diet, and they all affect our health. So having my daughter and going through pregnancy, and I had an unmedicated, incredible, amazing, connected, grounded, centered birth. Going through that just really opened my eyes to, again, how amazing our bodies are. And it just kind of kickstarted my spiritual journey and my health journey, and widened and broadened my horizons with what was possible in my practice. And it's just evolved from there. I'm extremely passionate about helping people heal themselves, and I see myself more as a guide to that. And I'm bringing in the reason that I tell people I'm not a typical chiropractor is because not only do I do more than just the adjustment, my technique itself, if you're just looking at it outside in, looks, it's a combination of kind of like a deep tissue massage and a stretch and mobilization and the adjustment as well. But my goal with my intent with my treatment is to connect mind, body, and soul, and to bring the person's full presence and full awareness and full consciousness into their bodies, into those points of pain, and to feel it. Because the only way to heal something, to truly heal something, is to feel it. And pain is an invitation. Pain is not your body rejecting you. Pain and before pain, it's tension before pain. But pain is an invitation. It's a message. It's a little alert that tells you, hey, pay attention to me. Lean in. I need some love. So that is my intent behind my treatment. And there's so much that goes into it, and I'm learning all the time. And it's been such an incredible journey.
Chelsea, you are just my absolute hero right now. I could just cry. I'm so grateful that you've stepped in to the calling that you have, because it's so important, especially here in Western society, that people start to understand and that we start to normalize healing our own bodies, and that our bodies are miraculous and that our bodies are capable. So I can just appreciate the work that you're out there doing, and the healing that you're spreading to your patients, because that is where true healing lies. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I'm like, you can go in and you can heal, and you can use some of these modalities to truly heal, utilizing our consciousness and filling up those God cells inside of us and allowing our bodies to activate and do what they do best, which is heal and to process through the different injuries or illnesses that we come in contact with. And in Western society, it seems, and in the medical practice, it seems so easy that you do see so many of those medical doctors out there slapping a pill on it, giving out drugs, like these different things, before really even asking the question to people on, what's your diet? Are you stretching? Are you drinking water? Are you taking care of your soul? And it just seems to be the Band-Aid gets slapped on, and now more Americans than ever are on some type of, I would say most people in America today, I don't know for sure, but would you say, sister, on like some type of medication?
Yeah, especially over the age of 30, 40. Yeah, most people get started on medication, and that number is just going up. The number of medications are going up, and the age at which they start is going down. It's a very externalized, outside in system, and that's just not how the body works.
Yeah, I just love that so much. So Amanda, you actually got, I didn't get Chelsea. I'm going to have to make an appointment with her because I didn't get her to work on me at the women's ceremony. So what was it like?
It was great. Like I said, before I even sat on her table, she had this really nice, you know how those chiropractor tables are. They look to me like a massage table. Mm-hmm. And so she had one of those thick, cushiony massage tables sitting outside under the covered porch. And so I walked out there, and the energy already felt great, right? It was Chelsea standing there, and the energy that she has is very welcoming. It's just like the practice that she absorbed. You can hear it when she talks. There's no limitation. She's here to connect mind, body, and soul, and to help find your tension, so she can help find the pain. So then you can take that as an invitation to heal. And that's exactly what she walked me through, were the exact steps that she just kind of walked everybody else through, and it was really nice. The great part for me was that you can tell sometimes for me when I go to the chiropractor or when I go to a masseuse or somebody like that, it's almost not that it's uncomfortable, but it almost is, right? You're in a vulnerable state. You're about to have somebody put their hands on your body, but Chelsea didn't do that. Instead, she led me through my own body with my own hands. Right, so she'd say, where do you feel the most tension? And I love how she just gave us those steps, because if you feel tension somewhere, I would imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, Chelsea, but it sounds like if we feel tension somewhere, so at the time mine was in my neck and my shoulders. So I told her, I was like, yeah, I guess my neck and my shoulders, sister, that's where I'm feeling it, you know? And she's like, well, she said, go ahead and sit up straight, legs not crossed, all the things. And then she had me do the neck rolls, you know, and she had me I move quick, and she picked up on that, and she's like, all right, I'm going to have you slow down and really stretch that. And when you feel that it's tight somewhere, slow down more and breathe into that. And it was in that moment that I was like, oh my gosh, Dr. Chelsea Knutt, you're amazing. You're amazing. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, oh, I get to breathe. It's outside. It felt good. It was not your traditional chiropractic moment by any means, but it was very welcoming. And I left feeling better, which is that's the ultimate goal. And it wasn't just that my neck wasn't tight, right? It wasn't just that. It was, I felt good. But
yeah.
My emotions, everything about me felt good when I hopped off the table. And that was the cool part.
I could pick up from the women's ceremony, Chelsea, that you are a person that's very connected to source and knows how to move source energy in the room that you're in, both with your sound bath bowls and with your general energy as well. You were walking around the room just moving energy while everybody was doing breath work and doing the sound bowls, and it was so beautiful. So I can only imagine that the energy work even that your clients experience really helps alongside your professional background, really in both medicine now and in chiropractic, really allows those healing modalities to all come together. And like you said, bring together that mind, body, and soul connection that truly leads to healing. And I've got to share with you guys. So after the women's event, we honestly decided that all of you sisters at that event were so great that this needed to get out to more people. More people. We needed a bigger space than we could fit people at Mercedes' house, right? It was like, we need more people to be able to connect with this, and we need to normalize these practices of true healing, true holistic healing. So we've got this event now that's coming up in June, and Chelsea's going to be there. She's going to be there doing her thing and helping people heal along what now I'm going to call our Soul Tribe sisters, because everybody has a different modality that they use to help people heal and to guide people through their own healing, which, like Chelsea just said, is really the most powerful part. So do you guys want to talk a little bit about the event that we have coming up? And we're going to try to get this podcast out so people can go over there and get tickets. Like, come out and meet Chelsea and, you know, just learn from her and allow her to guide you at this event. It's such a great opportunity to be able to get in front of her, but also anybody that's here local to DFW. Chelsea, do you practice now at your office every day, sister? Do you stay home with the baby?
I do. Well, she's not a baby anymore. She's almost 6. Her birthday's in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But yes, my family is my utmost priority. So I structure my life, my career, my business around being available for them. So I actually have a home practice in Wiley, which is northeast of Dallas, for those who aren't familiar, a small town. So I have a home practice, but I also do a little bit of mobile work too. So I've gone to people in their homes or in their business. And then I do sound baths as well. So I do them individually in my office at my house. And then I have a monthly sound bath that I do in downtown Wiley as well. So that's where I'm at.
I love that. Before we tell everybody about your awakening journey, I personally was super excited to hear how you got into the sound bath.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that kind of fell into my lap. My first passion in life was music. I have loved to sing since I could talk, and growing up in church and stuff. I grew up Mormon, actually, and that never really resonated with me. But the part that I did love about going to church was singing, and I'd be in there and I'd be singing my little heart out. And then I started playing piano when I was 6. So I've played piano since then, and it's just always been a part of me. That was the first thing that I thought I wanted to do for my career. And then life took me on another path. Didn't ever really think that that was realistic. And then in 2018, I got invited to a sound bath. One of my friends was hosting one, had never heard of it before, but immediately when she told me about it, I was like, yes, I am there. I went to 2 of them, and I had the most profound dreams afterwards, and I felt so relaxed, and it just stayed with me in my heart. So about a year ago, I was just like, had this little voice in the back of my head telling me, look into getting sound bowls, just look into it. And I did, and I ended up purchasing a set, and then it just kind of took off from there. Started doing individual sessions, and the women's retreat that we did was actually the first time that I had played to a group. And it's very different because the energy is different in a group. But yeah, since then I've done a bunch more, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's a form of healing that is very gentle, whereas my treatment can be sometimes a bit confronting because we're dealing with pain. But sound healings are a very gentle way to get in touch with yourself and to get the whole body resonating on the same frequency, speaking the same language, and it's beautiful, beautiful work. I love it.
Oh, I do too. It reminds me, last night I was going to bed and I like to check. Kimba and I both really enjoy turning on sleep sounds before we go to bed. And last night I was so intentional about, I usually am pretty intentional about the sounds that I put on, but last night I was very intentional about the hertz that I put on, the frequency that was going to be going off while I was sleeping at night, because I know how powerful that is and what it can do. And a lot of that resonated with me after I heard you at the women's ceremony. It was a lot of it was like, man, feeling it in person. And so these bowls, you guys, if you've never seen a sound bath or a sound bowl, they're different size bowls, and Chelsea's are like colorful, but they're almost like neon, like pastel neon colors is what I get. Like, if you can see this video now, this red pink color back here, that's like the color tones that go into her, that are on her bowls, but there's like yellow and orange. And so like, they're very easy to look at, and they're different sizes that are pretty large. So Chelsea puts them around her almost like you would the drum set, right? And she sits around them, and then she has this, I'm going to call it a stick, sister, because I don't know the proper term.
A mallet. A stick is good, though.
And she circles the bowls with this, and they all let off different frequencies depending on the bowl that she's circling around. And for me, last night, I found myself when I was scanning through YouTube, which is where I go find my sounds to listen to. I was trying to find some that were similar to the bowls that you were playing, because they all help heal very different energy chakras or whatever you're into, right? And but they all let off very different frequencies and wave patterns that are supposed to heal us at different levels, if that makes sense. If you pay attention when the sound goes off, you feel it somewhere in you, and that's likely the one that's trying to align or line up with the rest, right? And so for me, it was a lot of fun last night playing with that and thinking about you with your bowls. But I also follow you on Instagram, sister, so I see your Instagram videos, your reels and stuff, and I'm like, I just got to get in front of Chelsea more is really all I need in my life, I think. I'm there.
Like, are we the same person? I literally looked up sound bath sounds to go to sleep to, or sound bowl sounds to go to sleep to last night too. And then I woke up this morning and I'm like, and Chelsea's on the podcast today. And I'm telling you, sister, I love those things so much. I don't know if I can play them or not, but I think I'm going to buy some and try. I think that you have inspired me.
You should.
Yeah, I appreciate that, because I do. I was thinking about that last night when I was looking it up. I was like, I need to get some bowls like Chelsea and start playing with them in my room. I bet I would have a ton of fun.
I think they'd just be so cute sitting in my room, regardless if I ever even tried them.
Yeah. I think that would be super beautiful.
So more about your awakening journey, you guys. That's where Chelsea's going to be at June 2nd and 3rd of 2023. It's a Friday and a Saturday. Friday is from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday is an early rise, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And so what we intend on doing out there, you guys, is one, Chelsea's going to be there. She's going to be there with her sound bowls. She's also going to be there with her vocals, as well as some of our other beautiful souls. We're going to have meditation. We're going to do a fire ceremony, releasing ceremony in the evening around the burn pit on Friday night, and then an early sunrise with Chelsea watching the sun rise at 7 a.m. Saturday morning with her beautiful voice. And beautiful sound bowls are going to be there, not only, during our meditations and our safe containers and things that these ladies are going to put on for all of us, but throughout the entire event. And so I'm super excited for this event, you guys. We're going to have yoga. We're going to have dancing barefoot on Mother Nature's land. It's
Getting grounded.
It is going to be on 6 acres in Rome, Texas. And we do have an Eventbrite link that will attach to the YouTube. So if you guys are listening to this podcast on another channel, go find it on YouTube. You'll find the Eventbrite link in there to get signed up for one day, which I highly recommend going to get the full healing ceremony.
You've got to go 2 days.
You have to.
Yeah.
The price is
You'll regret if you get a one-day ticket and you're not there for day 2.
We'll let you sign up for day 2.
For sure.
I'm like, we will let you sign up for day 2 on the spot. So it's $111 per day, which is $222 for both days. And let me tell you what, one day was not enough. Kimba and I did the one day at our very first one, was the women's ceremony. And it was so great. We ended up staying super late because we were having such a great time.
We could have stayed all night. We could have spent the night together.
I agree. We wanted to. We truly wanted to. We had people waiting on us for dinner, and they were done eating by the time we got there. The food was sitting out on the counter cold. Like, we just could not get enough of the event. So I'm so excited to be able to do this with everybody at a large space in Rome with all of you guys. We have a total of 100 seats available for this event, you guys. So get in there, get signed up. It's going to be a complete blast. And if you need any help with payments or anything like that, please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us three, because we are here to help for whatever that looks like too.
And this event is so important in helping normalize everything that we're talking about with holistic health, with how powerful our bodies are, with connection to mind, body, soul, and spirit, and being able to normalize to a society that does feel so dependent on medications and some type of external source to almost show up and save us, right? I'm going to just share with you guys super briefly. You know, I have somebody very close to me right now that is going through cancer treatment. And when they talked to me about it the other day, they said, Kimba, the treatment's working. And I said, no, you're working the treatment, right? And it's so important that even with whenever we are utilizing traditional medicine, which Chelsea mentioned is very important and does have a place, that we still understand our power to work with that medicine, and that the medicine's not saving us. Our body shows up to collaborate to the healing. And when you're really able to tap into that piece of it, you start to understand that that's truly where the power's coming from. And anything else is a tool with that. So Chelsea, thank you so much, sister, for following your heart and your intuition, because I know that your soul contract in this journey of the shift. Amanda and I have talked on multiple podcasts a little bit about the shift that we believe that the universe and that the world is going through. And I know that you're right there with us when we talk about what's going on. But during this particular time and this particular moment and this particular season, your calling and your gift is going to be such an integral part of what humans are going to need to start to understand and develop into the future. So I just want to show our gratitude at CEOAF for you, sister, for following that intuition, because it's not always I know it wasn't easy to jump into a new state. I know it's not easy to do it while becoming a new mom, but yet you continue to follow your passion and that God-given intuition to help and lead others and to literally raise the vibration of the planet. That's what you're getting out there doing every day.
Yes.
Every time you start playing those bowls, you are raising the vibration of the planet. And I just have so much gratitude for you for being out there doing that.
Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me. And you're right. We are going through this huge planetary shift where all of the old ways are going to start to die. And the way that we can individually help that along and individually show up is by showing up for ourselves and reconnecting with our roots, which is with nature and the earth, and being in alignment with that. And then our bodies are craving that, and everything else begins to come online and begins to heal. And that's how we do it.
I love it so much. And so if everybody else wants to get in contact with you, Chelsea, what is the best way?
I have Instagram. You can follow me. My handle is @It's Dr. Knutt. And that's probably the best way.
It's Dr. Knutt on Instagram, you guys. Go check her out, give her a follow, and support her with the rise of the vibration for the entire planet. And if you are interested, go check out the link for your awakening journey to help us all rise the vibration of the planet, starting with you.
That's the thing, guys. When we heal ourselves, we truly are part of healing the collective. So do us a favor, hit the share button. I know that Chelsea dropped a lot of valuable information in here, and we're super grateful. We always appreciate it. If you listen to this and you got value or anything out of it, go ahead and hit the share button, and do not let the ripple effect of raising the vibration of the planet end with you. We'll see you guys on the next podcast. Bye-bye.